Yeah, wow. It's time now for our meditation. The song has already brought us to that place, so I invite you to stay in that place, relaxed and still. And release anything that might be keeping us from being totally present. Our cares, worries, any thought of what you need to be, what you need to be doing later, any memories of earlier events. Let it all go right now and be here now. Just for a bit, if you'd place your hand over your heart. Breathe for a moment through your heart. Imagine your breath going straight into the heart and dropping down into the solar plexus. And as you breathe out, see that breath leaving from the solar plexus. Breathe into the heart, out of the solar plexus. Continue breathing in this round as we connect the intelligence of the heart with the wisdom of the solar plexus. And if your attention wanders, just bring it back to the breath, following through the heart, into the solar plexus, and out. As you continue breathing into the heart, bring into your mind a moment when your heart was full. Maybe it was a moment when you felt deep appreciation for somebody special to you. Maybe it was a moment watching sunlight dancing on water or a sunset. Or maybe the eyes of an adoring pet. What is it that you love about that experience? Let the feelings of appreciation begin to fill your heart as you breathe into it. And let those feelings fill out your heart into overflowing. Breathe in feelings of appreciation. Breathe out and let those feelings fill your body. Feel every cell come alive with the fire of spirit. Your body is now bathed in feelings of love and appreciation. Feel yourself relax a little more as you remain totally centered, at peace, one in God. We are deeply connected to the Spirit within us. There is no separation. There is no lack. There is only love. There is only peace. There's only joy. We do not have to resist the flow of spirit. only to follow the current and allow love to move through us, guiding us, creating through us a life of love and harmony, a planet of love and peace. The universe is conspiring to bring us our good, and our job is to be the way of God, divine in expression. For the opportunity to serve love on this day, we are grateful. Amen. Just take a couple of nice deep breaths to get that oxygen flowing and come back to this place and this time. As you open your eyes when you're ready. I want to remind us of this month's affirmation. It just feels kind of special to me, and I know there's a slide for it. There it is. Hear this in your heart. In my Christ self, I have freedom and dominion. So I titled my talk Audaciously Free. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to bring some brevity to our get-together this morning, but then I got into it. And it's not funny, okay? So what does it mean to be audacious? Merriam-Webster says audacious means intrepidly daring, adventurous, enterprising, bold. Audaciously free means extraordinarily free. It's my 18-month-old grandson romping along the shores of Folly Beach in South Carolina, and his wings are flapping. He is just having so much fun. And whenever I remember that, it just brings me back to that joy, to that love, and to that sense of absolute freedom to be me. But then life happens, doesn't it? Did you know that by age 3, we are already well into being conditioned to conform? That's how we learn to navigate life in society with others. Don Miguel Luis in the Four Agreements calls this domestication. Nevertheless, it is important that we learn skills to be in relationship with others. But here's the thing. We grow up. We learn some behaviors are okay here, but not there. I even remember teaching my daughter that. You can say this word in my house, in our home, but don't say that at Grandma's house. Yeah, we learn those lessons early. We have experiences with anger and conflict and scary situations. We learn about shame, blame, and guilt. We work hard at being accepted, at fitting in, and many of us are still working on that. We want to be liked. We learn about holding grudges and resentment. And when we feel like we've been wronged, we can really relish the role and the drama of being betrayed. We've all been there at some time in our life. I know I have. And we get mired in the drama and the rage of victimhood. Where's the joy in that? And where is the freedom? And you know, we always have options to regain that sense of freedom. In the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz says, true freedom has to do with the human spirit. It is the freedom to be who we really are. Unity is all about practical application of spiritual principles, ways to live the truth we know, to be who we really are. Suppose we actually implemented what we know. It all comes back to awareness and intention. As I am self-aware, I feel when I'm out of alignment with my truth, when I have compromised my freedom by my choices. We sang it this morning. I must be the change I want to see. And I do that through the intention to use the tools I have. We all know Unity's 5 principles. Okay. God is. I am the expression of the divine. I think. I have thoughts all the time. It's up to me to manage them. I pray. The all-important relationship with myself and the God of my understanding, the truth of my being. We got to keep that conversation alive on a daily, hour, momently basis. I live. Therein lies the challenge. To shake the dust off my feet and put principle to work, to be to the very best of my understanding and ability for this day. So remembering the 4 agreements is helpful too, and we have studied this before. So number 1, be impeccable with your word. That's my favorite ability. Authenticity, to be authentic and in integrity with my word and myself. Number 2, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. 3, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate clearly to avoid misunderstandings. And number 4, always do your best. You will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Okay, here's where the rubber meets the road. I am just awakening to the importance of 3 practices that I'm going to mention to you. These practices help me to maintain my sense of freedom. The first is forgiveness. This was a surprise to me. I've always kind of sort of poo-pooed forgiveness as a practice because I don't think I have anything to forgive. You know, I don't hold grudges. I don't have any resentments. And I certainly don't make judgments. Right. Okay. And I am clear. I am very clear that I am prosperous. I know the source of my good, and I always have enough. I was in David Beard's prosperity class a couple of weeks ago when something triggered me. I don't even remember what it was. but I remember the aha. It has to do with the messages I got growing up and my relationship with my father. It was about being in and sustaining the flow of my good. And it was about, bottom line, we all have it, being good enough. My use of my good needs some work. It's not about the stuff we have or our talents or our gifts. It's about how we appreciate the good we have, our intentions, how we use it in the natural flow of all good. I need to work on my prosperity consciousness, and that means I do have something to forgive. It's also an indicator for me that there are more reasons buried in my subconscious. It has sharpened my self-awareness to stay in tune with those little pop-up feelings we get and listen to my intuitive wisdom. And it really kind of shook me up. For all the years in Unity and all the study about forgiveness, I don't really grok forgiveness. I shared that revelation with my online spiritual community, and they got it. My friends recommended this book, which several have used to work through their forgiveness issues. It is How to Forgive When You Can't. The Breakthrough Guide to Free Your Heart and Mind, and it's by Dr. Jim Dinkowski. It's hard to say that time and time again. Anyway, this book is jam-packed. I would love at some time, because this takes us to a depth I have not seen in the other materials that I have used within Unity. I would love at some point to make it a small group book study. I'd love to do that. So, anyway, about Dr. Dinkowski's book. It is a gold mine to forgiveness. It's packed with facts, tools, and stories on forgiveness. It's very readable. We've been taught that forgiveness is not about or for the other person. We're told to forgive is to give for. Not a concept I get. It's like the clock, falling back and springing forward. My brain just doesn't compute that. But I do understand forgiveness is for my own well-being. It's about lifting spiritual, emotional weight off my own shoulders. Forgiveness is a process by which we use our power of elimination to release judgments, resentments, hurts, all that self-imposed suffering that only serves a victim frame of mind. Forgiving is freeing, my friends. And what is freedom but our manifestation of our power of life? That was another aha for me. And this is what Dr. Dinkowski says about the principle of life. Even though we talk about our sense of the divine or higher power or God, the experience is our everyday life. People with no religion still know what it means to be heartfelt, compassionate, and loving. We feel guilty when we act against the principles of love and life. This guilt seems to move us away from the highest values within and around us. It moves us out of our highest thoughts and goals to block us from feeling our joy and peace. Letting go of guilt is our path back to the principle of life. and back to re-experiencing love, peace, and joy. This is the reason for forgiving and gives us the ultimate power back to happiness. And Jesus said it this way in Matthew, "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Okay, so we've got forgiveness. We've brought to the principle of life. The second principle that we're all practicing is the power of love. 1 Corinthians 13 says it all, and you'll remember this. "Though I speak with the tongues of men and angels, and have not love in my heart, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal." And that passage ends with, "And now abide faith, hope, love, these three. But the greatest of these is love." Love is the fueling, sustaining power that drives forgiveness. When we engage our power of love, and there can be no forgiveness without love. So when we engage our power of love with self-awareness, we're practicing mindfulness. And Dr. Dunkowski says, love is a natural consequence of a life without resentments. It takes mindfulness to be aware of the upsets and to focus on cleaning them up. Another aha for me. If I notice an upset, I have something to forgive. It might be a person, a situation, it might be myself. So I wanted to give you something kind of tangible that you could take home. So there are 3 practices of forgiveness. They are so simple. The first one he calls prayer for inner help. And he says, this is the seldom used act that brings big results. It's all about going back to principle 3, okay? So to do this, all you have to do is get quiet. Connect with that divine within. Take time to relax and contemplate the highest in yourself as you begin this forgiveness work. You just sit with it. You feel it, and then you ask. You simply ask, please help me see this in a different way. So you're asking for that divine inner support. Please help me see this differently. And if you get bogged down, you just get quiet again. Make that sincere request for help and have faith in divine love. When you've done all you can, let go of the struggle and listen. It might not come in that instant, but it will come. He says, I cannot tell you how this help will manifest or how it will occur, but I know it is there to assist you. And friends, I know that too. Okay. So, another simple forgiveness practice. He says this is the simplest one. And he calls this, let's see, he describes using this method to tackle a big forgiveness issue that was bothering him. And at the end of the session, using this practice, the upset was gone and never came back. It involves using some sort of prayer beads. Oops, I'm probably tangled up, aren't I? I am. Back to there. Okay. Am I good? Okay, prayer beads. And he calls it pray it forward beads. We all have these things now because they're kind of in. And the way you do this is you hold a bead. And you've got this situation, this person, this thing in mind. And you just say, I forgive. With intention, with sincerity, I forgive. I forgive. And you do that for about 10. And then you come up with a point of gratitude from this situation. I'm grateful that I have this opportunity to learn and grow. I forgive. I forgive. And then at 10, I'm grateful for something in this situation. I just think that feels so good, and it's easy. So I want to take a breath. I just want to pause here for a second. And I'm sorry, I don't have a joke. But I do want to plant a seed to raise your happiness quotient. It's the third principle of the 3 that I wanted to talk about: forgiveness, love, and you got it, gratitude. This practice helps us to reclaim that audacious freedom of the 18-month-old romping on the beach. So, in gratitude. Through gratitude, we amp up those good vibrations and increase our happiness quotient. Studies by positive psychology researchers show that people who use gratitude practice are happier and less depressed than the control groups, even months after a 1-week trial of this practice. So the practice is to write down 3 good things, big or small, that happened during the day. And next to each entry, and this was what was new to me. I've done gratitude lists, I don't know, for years. But this was a different piece. Next to each entry, answer the question, why did this good thing happen? 3 things. That's a practice. 3 good things and why. He says it's one of the most effective ways to have happiness and raise your vibrations. Now, I'd like to close with the third and really the first forgiveness practice. I have made available, but first, let me tell you what it is. These little cards are available for everybody. Okay? In recent years, people in my counseling classes and groups have had significant success in forgiving using loving kindness meditation, also called compassion, affirmation, or prayer, as it directly addresses the well-being for another, the end result of forgiving, the well-being of the other. For those who practiced it daily, there were significant positive changes in the brain and body, including lowered stress response and even reduced inflammation. Participants reported being more satisfied with their lives, an overall sense of well-being, and experiencing fewer symptoms of depression. I've found that it has helped people mend when they hit tough times, even in drug and alcohol recovery and loss of a loved one. I put all the different loving kindness variations I found on the web into one meditation affirmation prayer. Say it sincerely for others, and you will get the same blessings as someone saying it for you. as I played with this morning, I did it for me. Instead of saying you, I said I. It felt good. We'll experience it later. Okay. It's the best to do it with 100% intention and meaning, along with visualizing the result for the person. He says, with the most difficult forgiveness I did in my life, I was able to clean it up by using this affirmation for the person, saying it over and over for days. It worked. At first, I had to fake it, but I finally made it to where I wanted those intentions for the other person. I realized that if she or he really had those intentions in the beginning, the situation would never have happened. So I want to close with this prayer for you. May you be safe. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. May you be filled with love and kindness. May you be at peace and ease. May you be filled with joy. And may you go forth from this place expressing as the audaciously free child of the divine that you are. Blessings, everybody. It's time now for our ushers to come forward and for our affirming, our blessing for gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, that this is so.